Now, let's kind of jump over to your adventures into beer. That's been a pretty interesting one too. I've enjoyed all your beers as well. So what so okay, you went the mead route because you tried mead when you were in the service. Now that you switched over to beer itself, what do you think it's different? Like, do you think it's like a different beast you're kind of wrestling with a little bit, or is it
They're
some
very
similarities?
different.
Very different.
So
Okay.
I think mead
Hmm.
is on the ferment side is technically and 100% harder than beer ever thought about being. It is so sensitive because it's the low pH and there's so many things that are going on that you have to deal with temperatures and all that with mead that beer. Some beers are picky about those things, but not as many. Like if you're doing ales and stuff like that, you have to worry about that as much. You just got to hit the yeast's range and you're in pretty good shape.
Right.
On the beer side, it is technically harder to hit your gravities, to mash in and do the things. So it's, constructing the beer is harder, but fermenting the mead is harder. So I was pleasantly surprised with how easy it was to ferment a beer. The technical side of it, I'm still learning. So,
Gosh, yeah. I've overshot, undershot, OGs. I've undershot, undershot, final gravity. I've done it all. I've infected beers. No clue how it happened. Just all sorts of crazy stuff. It just yeah. We haven't had a whole lot of infections, but I had two that really bummed me out. Like I was talking to my cousin. Like Hefeweizens, I can't make. I've made two. They both got infected. I don't know what I did wrong. It's all these. It's the same equipment. I just can't make them, so I just buy them now. Like the beer gods are like, nope, you can't do this, Jeremy. All right, that's fine. I'll just make something else instead.
it's understandable. I try to do different types of beer.
Yeah.
And I've been drinking beer since I was 12, let's not tell
Oh.
anyone, but yeah, just it's a secret. As a kid, you kind of get into the family stash on occasion, and
Yeah.
those kinds of things. It's part of growing up, at least at our age. They may not do that nowadays. Um, you get into you got your types that you like, and I always had commercial beers that I would avoid and that I didn't enjoy. And I've found since we've started homebrewing that's a much broader depth on the type of beer I enjoy, and it
Hmm.
really comes down to the quality of homebrew you can get, and I found that that's much more diverse on the craft end and the homebrew end than it will ever
Oh
be in the
yeah.
commercial side, so
It has a huge spectrum, right? Up, like you just said, like you have your commercial side, which is especially if you go lagers, they're either going to be fairly crisp, clean. Times to me, I usually find them kind of sweet nowadays. Like when I was drinking them before, I didn't find like Bud Light very sweet or Coors Light very sweet. I find them sweet now, overall. When I do craft beers have their own unique flavors. Like I'll have a lager, I'm like, man, why is this lager so dry? Like this doesn't make any sense to me. And like, where's that sweetness that I'm kind of used to? Then you get like a homebrew lager, sometimes they're crystal clear, sometimes they're cloudy. And you're like, well, why is this lager cloudy? Is it supposed to be clear? It's supposed to be a clean, crisp beer. Like, what's going on here? So yeah, there's so many different complexities going on. And it also depends on your equipment that you have, how much time you want to put into it. The few lagers that I've done, I've had gelatin to one to clear it up, and I did. That's like a crystal clear. I let one just age for like 4 months, and I turned clear. So like, it's just weird all these little tricks we can do to make it look a certain way or taste a certain way. Where I don't think commercial can, because commercial is all about like pumping out as much as it can, fast as it can to make
yeah,
profit, right? So
I
that's
agree with that.
the big difference, I guess, between us and them.
It's been nice, but I don't know, I have a home beer. I've always liked a Mexican lager, and that's kinda what I try to brew at home.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I keep that on tap typically year round. Sometimes
Okay.
there'll be a week or 2 that it's not there, but it's in the works, but it just hasn't got there. And like most, don't have all of the correct equipment, so I do a pressurized ferment on my
Yep.
loggers and that kinda thing, and I've never had anybody complain, so,
No.
I don't it works well for me, so I'm not even that worried.
Right on, man. Right on.